Hey friends, it's Judy Klock, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Middletown, Virginia, and I'm excited to share tonight's video with you because I am introducing the Crafty Color Combo Magic Tool that I created just for you, my crafty friends, so that you would always have a handy tool to use when you were stuck for colors that would work together or were short on time or just wanted a little creative inspiration. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tool that we're going to use that was the basis for the cards that I designed tonight. So here we go. So what I have here, if you can see it, let me see if I can make this bigger. Can I swap this out? You just see, I don't know how to do this. It's not working. Let me see. Full screen. There we go. All right, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. So what we have here is the Crafty Color Combo Magic Tool. And it will say, hey, I'm your personal color wizard for Stampin' Up creations, making card making and scrapbooking magically easier. So in this little instruction bar down here, you can type in whatever instructions you want to give this tool to give you the answers that you need. So let's say that I want to make, and I cannot type and talk at the same time, to make a floral birthday card. And I'm going to say I am a beginning stamper. Let's say we're an intermediate stamper. I am an intermediate stamper. Okay, once I have that done, I'm going to hit the little up arrow here on the bottom right of this instruction box, and we are just going to let this take off. All right, and it gives you a little like rah, let's get going, little couple of sentences just to kind of get you jazzed up. Now we've got 3 combos of 3 different colors. So here we've got soft and subtle, Pool Party, Petal Pink, and Soft Sea Foam. And it's saying you can use a card base of Pool Party, stamped flowers in Petal Pink, and leaves or accents in Soft Sea Foam. And then it says add shimmer or vellum for extra elegance. Right? Bold and Bright, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, and Granny Apple Green. Cheerful and energetic. And it tells you what you can use for a card base, flowers, leaves. And then it's saying, hey, try some embossed backgrounds for more texture. Great. Let's see what it says for elegant and neutral. So we've got Misty Moonlight, Crumb Cake, and Basic White. Again, card base, layered panels, flowers. And it says add linen thread or pearls for a finishing touch. Then it says, do you want a 4-color combo? And you could say, sure. Let's say, sure. Give me 4 colors. Yes, 4-color combos. All right. And let's see what we get. And it's tells you, hey, you can also follow Crafty Klock on all these places because, we want to hang out together everywhere. It's not creepy or anything. You just want to have fun and create and craft. All right, so it added fresh freesia to our soft and subtle. It added, I think, Petal Pink to our elegant and neutral. And what did it add to our bright? Bright and bold, it added pumpkin pie. So you can see that you can give it as much as you want it. Then it comes back and says, would you like a sketch or a layout suggestion or tips on layering and embellishing at the intermediate level? Again, you can use this tool to ask it whatever you want. So I will drop the link down in the description so that you can have this tool for your very own. All right, now back to our regularly scheduled program, which I don't know where it just went. Let me move this out of the way. There we go. Now I'm back here. All right. Technology is great when it works. I'm going to take that off. I'm actually going to now put in my desk. I want to do this again, and I don't know how to put that back in. Let's add that to the stage. There we go. I love it when a plan comes together. So I actually asked the Crafty Color Magic Combo tool to give me, I said, I'm working with the Resourceful Rusty stamp set. So it came back with 3 different color combinations using the Resourceful Rusty stamp set. It gave me for bold and adventurous, it gave me pumpkin pie, garden green, and night of navy. For soft and weathered Gray Granite, Soft Sea Foam, and Misty Moonlight. And Deep and Earthy was Early Espresso, Old Olive, and Crumb Cake. This actually was my favorite of all of the combos, and not just because it had the green in it. They all had a full shade of green because the tool obviously knows me. So for our first one, Bold and Bright, we had Pumpkin Pie, Night of Navy, and Garden Green. Now, I kept my colors, my main colors, to the Night of Navy and the Pumpkin Pie, and I used that little bit of Garden Green just to color the leaves of my apples. And I also used Granny Apple Green. So those are my greens for that combo. And I actually like the way this one works. I do like blue and orange are complementary colors, so I knew those would work well together. And that green was just the right accent for my little apples. Next, we had our Soft and Weathered of Gray Granite, Soft Sea Foam, and Misty Moonlight. And again, we kept this really simple. We had a Gray Granite base, Misty Moonlight layer, and then we layered our cute little Resourceful Rusty on that Soft Sea Foam. So I think those actually work well together also. And now my favorite of all was by far the Early Espresso, Old Olive, and Crumb Cake. Now I did add a little bit of texturing to my Crumb Cake layer. I used the So Swirly embossing folder. We have some of the Designer Series paper in Old Olive, and then just a couple of round circles to kind of tie in with the circles on our Designer Series paper. And that was it. We have all three colors. So I think that this worked really well. And honestly, I don't know if I ever would have put some of these colors together. So I was really pretty happy with the results I got. So let's go ahead and work on our cards. So for our first card, we were given Night of Navy. So I use that as my card base. Standard 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I also will have all of these measurements in the corresponding blog post that will be up tomorrow. So don't worry about writing all of this stuff down, but my layers are pretty standard. Then I have, again, for the inside, just our basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and add that to the inside. All right. Then I've got a piece of our pumpkin pie. And oh, look at that big hole in it. But I cut out the piece we're going to use on the front because this whole piece is going to be covered by our Designer Series paper. So why not take advantage and cut the piece that we need for the front out of the middle of this, because that's really just unusable. So there's no reason why. So a little tip to kind of help you and make your cardstock go just a little bit further. So let's go ahead and we're going to add some adhesive to the back of our Designer Series paper. Again, I can't even think today. It's been one of those days. I actually locked one of the dogs out this morning. I let them out to go, take care of business first thing before I fed them. And I thought everybody was in. And I went to go put the bowls down and somebody was missing. And she was on the porch because I didn't know she hadn't come in. She wasn't out there long, maybe, 5 minutes, but still. And she wasn't going any far because the yard is fenced. Again, I can't think. Can't think and work at the same time. So now we've got our layers down, right? We've got this one we're going to layer up, and then we're going to do our stamping on these little white. And these I used the perennial postage dies. I just thought those were fun. And I'm using our basic black ink for most of this. I don't remember what I put on here. Oh, so this was my Don't Give Up. All right, so we got the little Resourceful Rusty. It's like a red panda, a fox, a raccoon. Not really quite sure what he belongs to in the animal kingdom. All right, there we go. I think I've got him. All right. And we're going to say, don't give up. Because even though sometimes it seems like you drop all of your eggs or your baskets or everything's going crazy, don't give up. Keep going. It's going to get better. All right. You've got this. A little crooked. My stamps are crooked for some reason. I think I put the labels on crooked. All right, now let's go and get some coloring done. So I've got my markers here. I'm going to move this out of the way for now. Granny Apple Green. I'm going to color my apples in Granny Apple Green. Remember, because why not? I mean, it says Granny Apple Green, so why not color our apples with them? I didn't think a red apple was really going to work with this color combo, so I just kind of kept it in there with the green. And I think it all works together. Now, there is no Stampin' Blend for Garden Green, so I have just my Stampin' Right marker here, which is fine. I'm going to use the brush tip, and I'm just going to color in my leaves. So that's where I'm pulling in that third color. So it doesn't have to be all in your face sometimes. You could just have the little subtle accents of color and just be done with it. So there we've got that. All right, now we're going to color in our little Rusty. And I used light pumpkin pie. I don't really know. I really need some new markers. They're kind of getting old. I've had them for a long time. Time to invest in some new ones. All right, I'm just going to color his arms and his legs. I'm going to leave his little tummy and face white. Okay, again. And I'm just going to kind of color up half his tail. I'm just going to kind of color that. Okay. Around his ears. We'll leave his ears white just because I can. Well, maybe I'll do like the tops and we'll leave the insides, the undersides white. Okay. And that is our little Resourceful Rusty. Let's finish this up. Let's go ahead and layer our little stamped image on our piece of pumpkin pie. And then we're going to use some dimensionals, which I think I packed up a lot of my supplies to go to the crop tonight. So I'm kind of working with limited supplies. All I have are these little mini Stampin' Dimensionals because my big ones are in my bag. And we're going to put some dimensionals on our little sentiment too. So just bear with me because these are the little tiny ones. So I'm going to use probably more than I normally would because they're tiny. I mean, I have more of the big ones somewhere, but I should have thought to grab them before I started recording. But you know what? It's okay, right? It'll all be okay. All right, so let's add our little Resourceful Rusty. So cute. And then we'll just add our sentiment underneath. Now you could go ahead and add, if you wanted to add linen thread or some kind of embellishments, maybe a wink of Stella. You can go ahead and add whatever you want to make this card your own. I'm just giving you sort of the basic layout idea. So there is card number 1. Number 2 was our soft and subtle. And we have our gray granite for our card base. And again, I've got a piece of our basic white here. I can't even pick it up. 4 by 5 1/4. Didn't want to get picked up. And we're just going to put that on the inside of our card base. All right. And I really should have followed my own rule and did stamp then stick. And where did my gray granite ink go? I think I packed that up too. All righty. Well, we're going to change it up. I have my Misty Moonlight here. So I'm going to change it up because I can do that. I was stamping in gray granite, but we'll stamp in Misty Moonlight. I'm going to stamp this here and here. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on our piece of Misty Moonlight. I'm going to stamp it in the opposite corners. So we're going to stamp here and here. All right, and then we're going to apply this kind of at a jaunty little angle. I don't know if it's really jaunty, but we're going to call it a jaunty little angle because why not? All right, we've got that. Now I've got a piece of soft sea foam here. That's 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and a piece of basic white that's 2 by 2. All right, we're going to bring back our memento. And we are going to stamp. I just thought this was so funny. He's trying to stuff like 3 apples in his mouth at once. I just thought it was funny. It made me laugh. And because I'm going to put this again on a little angle, I'm going to kind of stamp him on an angle himself. So if it was straight up, he'd be kind of walking crooked. But because we're going to twist it, I put him that way. If that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. All right, now we're going to color him. I colored him originally with the gray granite marker, Stampin' Up marker. I did not like the way that looked. So I actually have some smoky slate. So I'm going to do some smoky slate. I think it'll still work, and I just think it'll look a little bit better. Okay. Plus the Stampin' blends just really color so much better than the Stampin' Up markers. But I really didn't think this whole packing for the crop thing before I did the video through. But oh well, hindsight's 20/20, right? Isn't that what they always say? You always think about, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that yet. But we're making it work. So I guess that's all that matters. So we can kind of divide and conquer and figure it out and do what we need to do. Right, and then I think I'm going to color in his little tummy in some light crumb cake. Just because I can. Do his little ears. And we'll color in his little face. I could have left it white too, but I opted not to. So again, when it's your creation, you can be as colorful or as non-colorful as you want. All right, let's go ahead and get some apples. So I'm going to color these with Poppy Parade. I know I did the other ones with Flirty Flamingo, but after I did it, I didn't really like the way it looked. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that again. So for here, we have got the Poppy Parade. And of course, I have my dark soft seafoam, and we're going to color the leaves with that, tying in that last color. Now, we're going to layer up our 2 squares. All right. I'm going to put that there. All right, we've got our 2 squares again. We're going to use some of these little mini Stampin' Dimensionals. I mean, they're fine. They're fine. They do the job. I'm just used to working with the bigger ones. I'm just kidding. Everything is good. All right. Except I've got little dimensional papers all over the place now, but I guess that's okay. All right, so now we're going to put Rusty on, or Resourceful. I keep wanting to call him Rusty. He's Resourceful. Okay, so now see how we put him on now? He sort of looks like he's a little bit straight. And then we're going to come here with our You Can Do It. You can do it. Because he's trying to get all those apples into his mouth at once. And I'm trying to make sure I keep this on camera, but still so I can see it. All right, you can do it. Now this, I am going to kind of flag the end. Okay, and now there's a couple of ways you can do this. One of the ways is you can use your Stampin' blends, but I'm going to try something a little different. I'm actually going to move this out of the way for now because this is going to get a little messy. I've got one of our aqua painters here. You can use just a regular paintbrush. Just get a little bit of water on there, okay? Then you want to hit this against something hard, not your finger, like a marker, your scissor, your bone folder. And you want to just kind of do that. Maybe not. Maybe not. Come on. Ooh, it's not working today. And just kind of splatter the ink on your label, and that's just going to give it a little bit more color. I'll hold it up so you can see it. There we go. Now, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see, but maybe if I hold it up closer. Let me see if I can get it in. Let me see if that'll work. Can you see? It's very hard to see, but I did splatter, and you've got just a little bit of those green dots on there. All right, put this up here. Now I'm going to have to put dimensionals on this end because this other end is going to kind of hang on our centerpiece, which already has dimensionals on it. So you want to make sure that the end that hangs off is on the same level. And I'm just going to add just a teeny tiny bit of adhesive. I put a little teeny tiny bit of adhesive on this end, and then we're just going to stick that down there. So you can do it. And again, I don't know if it's any easier to see the splattering on there, but there's a little bit of splattering on there. All right, now for our last one. This is by far my favorite color combination. So again, standard card base, got basic white, again, 4 by 5 1/4. So all of these are very standard layers. I really haven't done anything too crazy. I do a lot of crazy things, but this isn't too crazy. All right, and then we've got our crumb cake here. Again, it's 4 by 5 1/4. I've embossed it with the So Swirly embossing folder just to give it a little bit of texture. Let me see if I still have any ink in this one because I packed up my liquid glue to go to the event. Okay, full disclosure. I thought the event started at like 10 today. So I get up there and I get to the church and there's like not a car in the parking lot. I'm like, well, it doesn't start until 4. So I was like, yeah, okay. My bad. So I came back home and just did some stuff around the house. So now tomorrow, it's from like 10 o'clock in the morning on. I was just a day early. Oh, well. All right, we're going to add that to our card base. And I use liquid glue on my embossed pieces because I find the tape runner sometimes will rip the back of the embossed cardstock. So liquid glue is a good alternative. Plus it gives you a little bit of extra time to kind of finesse the piece in place to where you want it to be. All right, now I've got a piece of our designer series paper. This is 5 1/4 by 1 1/2. And we are just going to line that up. I don't know, maybe 1/2 inch from the edge. Okay, then we're going to stamp. Excuse me, on here. Now, I wanted to stamp this in Old Olive, but because I packed up the Old Olive, I don't have my Old Olive, but I do have my Old Olive Stampin' Right marker. And this is a red rubber stamp. So you can use your Stampin' Right markers on the red rubber stamps, right? I'm just going to color it in. I'm going to huff on it, just like that. And then we're going to stamp. It's an old trick. So if you don't have all of the ink colors, but you have the Stampin' Right markers and you have red rubber stamps, you can go ahead and use that as your ink. So let me put this on. Okay, and I have little circle punch here. Now these circle punches are all retired now. These are the older sizes, but we have the Spotlight on Nature dies and the Nested Essential dies. They don't have circles, and the Stylish Shapes dies that have circles. So there are many ways to get your circles. I just chose to use my punches today. Excuse me, because for me, punches are just so much quicker than doing die cuts. All right, so we've got our little guy here. He's reaching for the apples that he's trying to get, and this just fits. Just fits. All right. Again, let's do some coloring. So I'm going to use my dark crumb cake for the majority of his body. Okay. All right, there we go. To his little legs. He's cute, isn't he cute? I really like this. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is such a cute stamp set. I have to get it. So I've used it a couple of times now. I just think he's fun. And he's good. He's a good one to color. So let me know what you think of these cards. Let me know what you think of the Crafty Color Combo Magic Tool. I'd love to get your thoughts on it to see, if it's useful to you, if it's not useful to you. My hope is that it will be very useful to you. And like I said, it has all of the current Stampin' Up! Designer Series papers in there, by name and with the colors that coordinate with them. So if you ask it, what can I use with Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper, it will come back and it will say, well, the Perennial Lavender has this, and this color, and you could use this 3 color combo. I'm going to do his tail and a little bit of crumb cake, just because why not? So I'm hoping that it will become a very useful tool for you as you craft, and it will work for scrapbooking. If you're working on a scrapbook page and you're not sure of what colors you want to use, you could say, hey, I've got pictures of us at the beach. What colors would work with beach type pictures for scrapbook layouts? And it should give you some viable options. So do leave comments and let me know what you think. And if you use the tool and you make a project with the colors you get, go ahead and put it on my Stampin' with Crafty Klock, oh my goodness, Facebook page, so that we can all be amazed at your creativity. Because that's what it's all about. It's about having fun, sharing with each other, helping each other. And that's what we try to foster in my Crafty Stampers VIP community. We're all about supporting one another, having fun, sharing our crafty ideas, and really just inspiring one another and supporting one another. So if you are someone who likes to craft, but maybe doesn't have anybody around you that does it, come join our community. We'd love to have you. We love to share with everyone, and we are supportive of all of our crafty friends. So that is it. So there is our last one. We are going to layer him up right on that old olive circle. And then we're just going to go ahead and put these on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. My goodness, I hope I can stay awake for the crop tonight. I'm a little tired. The other night, for some reason, I couldn't fall asleep. I don't know, I fall asleep like around midnight. And of course, the dogs get me up at, the crack of dawn. So I'm just a little tired. But it's all good. It's all good stuff. Right? I'm lucky to have the dogs. I'm lucky to wake up and see another day. So no complaining. But it does make for me to be a little tired. Ugh. All right, here we go. Now we've got our little keep going. I'm just kind of overlap those circles just a little bit. That is it. Those are our 3 cards for today. And I used the colors. Where's my other one? Here it is. I used the colors, excuse me, that I got from the Crafty Color Combo Magic Tool. And these were the 3 colors that they said: Pumpkin Pie, Night of Navy, and Granny Apple Green, Gray Granite, Misty Moonlight, and Soft Seafoam, and Early Espresso, Crumb Cake, and Old Olive. So that's it. Like I said, I hope that you will give the tool a try. I will drop the link below in the description, and there will be a blog post probably late tomorrow afternoon, with all the dimensions for the cards that we made today. That's it for me, everybody. Have a great evening, and I will see you here next week. Stay crafty, my friends.